Hey there, super friends. It's Joey with Last Point Gaming. Today is Monday, April 22nd, 2019. So, yeah, there have been a lot of episodes in the last couple weeks. Consequently, I'm not sure what things I actually talked about and what things I just practiced talking about. So, if I talk about something and act like it's all new and exciting and I've already talked about it, please bear with me, I guess. We've got a weekend of excitement coming up here. Pre-release for War of the Spark. And in addition to that, MC London. Which, of course, will be where they pilot the highly discussed London Mulligan. Despite the kind of pain in the ass it's been at F&M, just because I've had to answer no less than 5, possibly more, people asking me which mulligan rule we're using, because the London Mulligan is on MTGO right now. I'm glad that they made it available in some fashion. I suppose playtest teams could have, just tested with it, but putting it on Moto ahead of time gave people an opportunity to try to figure out if there's a way to break it. So, they've had it on there for, I feel like it's been 2 weeks. Which in the grand scheme of things, with the depth of cards in Modern, may not be enough time to figure out that perfect, series of cards to play with it. But there's more chances that whatever potential for exploiting this rule in Modern exists will be explored and utilized. So we'll actually get a pretty good look at how good or bad it is for the format. Also, they're going to be drafting War of the Spark. So that's kind of exciting to watch the pros draft before, you go through a draft and don't know what you're doing or whatever. Unfortunately, because it is pre-release weekend, I'm not going to likely be able to catch much coverage. Actually going pretty hard. Oh, crap. Going pretty hard this pre-release. Okay, well, I'm going to deal with that when I get home because you didn't text me before I left work. Sorry. I have 2 of my 3 children are homesick today. Girly McBabyface made it all the way into daycare. So, of course, that means she has to definitely stay home tomorrow. Bird may be feeling well enough for school tomorrow. I don't know. Girly McBabyface is going to take a trip out to the doctor to get checked out. It's a stomach thing, and that's all I'm going to say about it because it's pretty disgusting. I will say, Bird is the worst at complaining in that she, just doesn't complain. Which, usually is pretty pleasant, except when she throws up in her bed at night and doesn't bother waking anybody up to tell them. That kid. Anyway. So, moving right along. Sorry about all that. We're actually... wow. So, we're doing the Saturday two-headed giant. Then, on Sunday, we're doing both the two-headed giant and the solo sealed. Judge usually runs the Sunday events, but due to circumstances in his personal life, he is unable to this time around, so boss asked me to do it. Husband approved it, which I was kind of surprised. I thought he'd put up more resistance. Just because, like, there's so much crap we got to get done around the house on the weekends, you know, with us both working full-time and everything. And so much of it, like, the yard work is the big thing that it's just not something you can do around the baby. You know, you can't just put her in the crib and hope she sleeps through you mowing the lawn. Same with, like, taking out the garbage and everything. Like, you can start getting stuff together until she wakes up and requires interaction, yada yada. Anyway, but it's a one-time thing. Yeah, usually we don't do any of the solo sealed events because they are incredibly stressful for me, because I got to build 2 decks and make sure I keep card pools completely separate. Meanwhile, Boo's picking through my pool while I'm trying to build her deck and going, ooh, this card would be really great if I had it. And, like, it gets closer to the mat and I'm like, stop it. Anyway, it will be a good indication. I don't know if I mentioned on here, at the end of June, I think it's the last weekend in June, is SCG Pittsburgh, which is Modern Team Not Unified. Fulmer is kind enough to agree to not day 2 this event by teaming with Boo and I. It will be her first time playing at competitive REL, which we're going to work on that skill set over the next, you know, however many weeks. And she is really excited about it. I do have my concerns because it is a long day of playing Magic. Luckily, we should probably be firmly in the loser's bracket pretty quickly. Not just because of her. Like, I am, you know, I'm an F&M hero. I go to those events to squee at people from the internet, not to do well. So, we should, dropping early should be a possibility if needs be. Though she's ambitious, because Pittsburgh's about 4 hours away for us. So talking it over with husband, he's like, yeah, so you guys should probably head up Friday night and should probably stay there Saturday night. You know, not even anticipating making day 2 or anything, just it's a long drive home after, you know, playing all day. So I said, okay, yeah, that makes sense. So I'm talking to her about it, and she's like, well, what if we do make day 2? And I'm like, well, you know, we're planning on getting a hotel room for Saturday night, so that'll be fine. We can stay and play it. And she's like, yeah, but isn't day 2 like all day? And I'm like, I don't know, it's like, what, 6 rounds? Before they cut to top 8. And she's like, well, what if we make top 8? And I'm like, well, then it's a little bit longer. And she's like, what if we win? And I'm like, I don't think there's much threat of that happening, but if so, I guess we just drive back Saturday night. Like, you know, what else are we going to do? And she's like, but what about work? And I'm like, if we win this event, then I'm just calling in sick on Monday. Like, I'm just going to stay home and nap. She's like, okay. She's like, I really want to win. And I'm like, I mean, it's cool to be excited about it and everything. Just, you know, don't get too focused on that. Like, it's about going, having a good time, playing and everything. So she asked me what I would give her for every round she wins. And I told her for every match she wins, not our team wins, but like the personal match she wins against her opponent, I will give her $5. So Boo is like eyes on the prize right here. She is super stoked and thinks she's going to go school a bunch of noobs. We're working on that. So Sunday will be a kind of good test day for how long can Boo play Magic before she's ready to murder people. Now, not going to be quite the same because it's going to be, you know, at a comfortable place with people she knows and likes, you know, whereas it's a much different environment going to, like, an open. But it'll be a good dry run. So, yeah, we're doing a lot of... I guess we're only doing one more event than we usually do. It just feels like a lot. So I'm not going to be able to catch much live MCQ or MC coverage, but hopefully I can go back and, watch VODs afterwards. Because I am really interested to see how this plays out. So, I try not to be that, get off my lawn, traditions are traditions for a reason. And the game does have to evolve to keep up with its current competition and, stay relevant. And I totally accept that and support that. But there does come a point where you got to kind of ask, are we even still playing the same game? Yeah, the most recent thing I've seen proposed is we get rid of maximum hand size. Now, granted, maximum hand size rarely plays in as a relevant factor. Blue draws a ton of cards, but they're usually not discarding relevant cards. I just drew 8 cards. I'm gonna pitch these 6 lands that I drew that I don't need. And I guess the whole impetus behind this is it feels really bad when you're mana screwed and you start having to discard to hand size because you can't play any of your stuff. I honestly don't think taking away max hand size would have a positive impact on that, because you still can't play the things. You're still likely going to be dead before you can play the things. I mean, that's... Oh, God. Who's calling me?
Press the pickup button to answer. Call rejected.
Go away. I'm not sure it adds a positive benefit. On the same token, I guess it doesn't really hurt anything. It just... Change is good, but there does come a point where I say, are we just trying to go easy mode here? I have heard other people suggest that you have a separate land deck, you have a land deck and a not land deck, and every turn you choose which one to draw from. No. Just fucking no, okay? No. At that point, we are just not playing the same game. And I get that variance sucks. It does. When you're on the bad end of it. I mean, I've had the, godlike top decks, and I've had the, alright, I only need to do 3 points of damage. Come on, gas. Oh, land. Shit. They stabilized. Fuck. So, I mean, yeah, I've been hit with the bad side of the variance stick, and I have profited from the variance stick. But it is part of the nature of the game, and to say that, it becomes more skill intensive when you reduce variance. Yes and no. When you reduce variance, bad matchups become impossible. Because, take Storm versus Humans. Humans is very much favored against Storm. However, if Humans gets a lukewarm draw and Storm gets the God Hand, Storm can get there. There are situations in which variance affects the game to the point that Storm has a chance. Now, if you're taking away that variance, Storm just gets its ass kicked. We sit down at the table and maybe bother to roll the die to see who goes first. But if we go to that point, if the human players goes first, then there's just no point in even playing the match. So I understand that they're trying to reduce the amount of non-games. That's the impetus behind testing out this new mulligan variant. Is trying to reduce non-games. Because, yeah, when you mold a 3, you're pretty much boned. It is incredibly difficult to come back from that. You have to hope for a really crap draw that your opponent decided to keep for whatever reason. And you have to have, like, the perfect 3 and continue to draw into, like, every draw is exactly what you need at that moment. And I get it. It sucks. And the London Mulligan will help facilitate having that perfect 3 and I guess not so much drawing exactly what you need. But if you remove variance too much, you end up swinging the scale in the other direction and creating a non-game scenario in the other direction. So, and yeah, okay, I guess you can still hope in a bad matchup that your opponent fumbles, then it's all about the skill and, making do with the resources you have and playing to your best outs. But, we all know you can do everything right in a game of Magic for the resources you have available and still lose. You can have several misplays and still pull out a win. And yeah, variance is what enables this to happen. But I really don't think... I think there does come a point where the removal of variance, not even skill, will help you in your worst matchups. I mean, if we want to reduce variance, why don't we reduce deck size to 40 cards in Constructed? Oh my god, you're afraid of life. You're all afraid of life. It's a traffic circle. It's like really not that difficult to figure out, friends. So, again, I'm trying to withhold judgment on some of these suggestions, but, definitely separate land and spells decks. Again, at that point, you're not even playing Magic anymore. I don't know what you're playing, but it's not Magic. And, okay, that one's a bit of an extreme. I get that. So, I guess the crux of it is, I support the growth and evolution of the game, but at the same time, there does come a point where I question, is this really necessary? And should we really be doing this, I guess? But all that being said, I'm home now, and I gotta go find out what's going on with my household of plague. As always, if you made it this far with me, thank you very much for listening. Oh, quick plug. Tomorrow, be sure to watch your favorite streamers, because tomorrow is the Super Skippy War of the Spark streamer, preview event, where WotC has selected streamers, and they will give them fully loaded accounts with 4 copies of all the cards from War of the Spark, and, 4 copies of everything. Unlimited gems, so that they can stream and play with the set before it's available to everybody else. It was a really great event last time they did it. I had a real good time tuning into streamers, so make sure you keep an eye out for that. Anyway, as always, if you made it this far with me, thank you very much for listening, and hopefully I'll talk to you all on Wednesday.